Okay, let's talk Euphoria season 3, episode 7. This episode that just came out this Sunday, right? So in my previous video, I was just talking about how Rue may not be the main character anymore. It's more of Cassie, Alamo, Laurie, Maddy, and what's the other guy's name? Kid. First of all, let's clap it up for an amazing season, because let me tell you something. The actors have been acting their ass off, okay? Literally, the next episode is the season finale. And I have a lot of questions about, is this really the season finale, or are we going to get a part 2? Because you know Netflix loves to do a part 2 of a season that's already then came out, right? But I can't help but think, well, maybe this is going to be the final episode of this season and the final episode of this show, because in this episode, Rue is finally saying, like, this is the final trip, this is the final run, this is the final this is the final, this is the last drop, this is my sign from God, and God is telling me about Moses and how this is the freedom walk and all this kind of stuff, right? Excuse me, I mean Moses reaching the promised land, right? And Coleman Domingo is finally featured in this episode, and I hope he's finished in a feature in episode 8, because really having him on the front cover of this season is really irrelevant, or just it didn't need to happen just to hype this season. But structurally, like emotionally, like fleshing out the characters, I feel like this story isn't done, and there's so much more that can be told and a lot more that can be handled in a different manner, if I can be honest. And I'm pretty sure a lot of you can agree with me. Well, let's jump right into this episode. So episode 7 starts with Coleman Domingo's character is named Ali. We jump into Ali's backstory and how he became the person who he is today. So in the beginning of this episode, we go into Coleman Domingo's character, which is Ali, and we talk about his struggle with addiction and how he ended up losing his family and losing, friends. And then we kind of skip along to, we kind of see the journey of him, through the drug addiction and sleeping around and all that kind of stuff, and the whole life of addiction. And it shows him turning his life around, and it's kind of foreshadowing like Rue's journey about, her finding Christ, and then maybe I don't know about Rue's journey, but him finding Christ and then eventually becoming a mentor for other people who become drug addict or whatever, and send them to meetings and all kinds of stuff. But all in all, in the end, they end up passing away. They show so many situations and different situations about how people who are addicted to drugs, their life ultimately comes to death. So really, it's kind of like a foreshadowing, almost like how they kind of show Ali talking to Rue about her journey and how he has heard the story so many times. Now you can just kind of feel the pressure and the tension about how Ali is almost like, well, Rue, if you keep down this road, I ain't seen this before, I'm going to write you down in my book, of someone who died from the life of addiction. So after that, we kind of cut to Cassie's storyline, and to me, I kind of wanted Cassie to win the most this season, especially after everything that she went through. And I know I was a Sydney Sweeney apologist in the last video, but Cassie ultimately loses everything after she's on top of the mountain. And I don't know if they're trying to be relatable to real life about people who end up doing content and constantly lose themselves. And so basically, she loses everyone. Her dreams of being a famous actress, basically the producers didn't want to hire her because she was a porn star. And the saddest part of this is Cassie really thought this was her new start. She thought she can quit OnlyFans and this would be the legitimate way of breaking into the industry. But she was soon to find out that the world still sees her the same. And the heartbreak that she went through this episode, you can just tell that, not only her finances were destroyed, but she was destroyed emotionally. And then we move on to Maddy, which I thought could have been wrote out this season. To be honest, after the wedding, I didn't think she really had a place left in this show. I thought she was just a normal character. But the writers had so much more left for her. And Maddy loses her job because Cassie wiggled her way somewhere into the room to audition to become an actress. And her boss basically told her, you don't need to... She warned her one time before, and Cassie fucked it up for her. So now all Maddy has is Cassie. To be honest, Cassie is like her bottom bitch. And Maddy quite literally enforces that. Once Maddy lost her job, she kind of lost a part of herself. She went to Cassie's apartment. She was like, bitch, I want to hit you. And then she slapped the shit out of her. So not only is now Maddy jobless, but she is now the pimp of Cassie, which is crazy because I kind of feel like Maddy always wanted that dynamic or wanted that get back from Cassie stealing Nate Jacobs from her, because that was her man first. And then you turn around and get married to this man. But while we speaking on Nate Jacobs, he kicked the box, honey. And in this season, Nate literally got the shit in the stick. Every episode, it just kept getting worse, and worse. And I feel like the apple don't fall too far from the tree. Nate was literally worse than his dad. It was the ongoing theme of money, power, and how he treat people. Nate was so disrespectful, and I feel like a lot of people in this world feel like as long as they have money, they can treat you any kind of way or make false promises and lie to you and say that they're going to do something and not do it. But Nate proved that theory wrong. Because every episode he was losing a finger, losing a toe, losing everything he really had until he lost his life. Long story short, Nate owed these people $1 million for trying to bail his company out of whatever situation he was trying to build. So long story short, basically Nate couldn't pay back a debt that he owed to this group of mobbers maybe, and he owed $1 million. And to be honest, if I was in Nate Jacobs' place, like before they even buried him, I probably would have just asked him to kill me because every episode was literally torture for him. So basically, this crew asked Nate, how tall are you? And Nate said, I'm 6'5". So basically, they built a casket for him, it was his size because he fit inside. But it almost felt like the snake scene kind of felt like theme-ish because it was like Nate is always trying to be a predator to those around him. Always using his power, his size, his money, to get over on people or use them or for his benefit. But rather you feel sorry for Nate Jacobs or you're happy that he's dead, I feel like it was emotional get back, at least for me, that I felt that he was getting back for Maddy, he was getting back for Cassie, he was getting back for Hunter, Jules, Rue. I feel like it was get back for a lot of people in the show. But even with Nate dead, his decision still hunt the lives of Cassie. Like telling Cassie, the people went after Cassie telling them they gonna cut her tits off, cut her face off. Can I say tits? But cut her breast off, if they didn't have $1 million within 72 hours. So Maddy has to go for help for the worst person in the whole season, which is Alamo, which is crazy, involving herself in that. Now she's in $1 million debt along with Cassie after they found out that the very person that they looking for is dead and it was a shit up job that they had to risk their lives for. And then we kind of skip back to Rue's storyline where she is in deep shit. And it seems that the story is finally coming to an end, and Rue is still in deep shit. And now, when she's back in Laurie's good graces and her debt is paid off, they finally tell her that she has to kill the very person that she's been working for who tried to help her escape from Laurie, which is kill Alamo. And Rue is back in the situation again, like, damn, what do I turn? And there's nowhere left to turn. She's in the shit with the DA, she's in the shit with Alamo, she's in the shit with Laurie. And Rue just wants to be free. So we kind of cut to the scene where Rue's friend was finally helping her when Alamo was going to kill her the first time by riding a horse and knock her head off. And Rue promised her $20,000 that was in the safe. So basically her friend comes and saves her and says Rue, they gonna kill you. So basically she comes in, she opens up the safe for Rue. And Rue finally finds out the truth that no girl really ever escapes from Laurie's prison or Laurie and Alamo's situation. No girl ever escapes. They're either paralyzed from the neck down or they're hurt some type of way or they get Botox on their tongue and they can't speak anymore. And the truth is they just never escape. So to me, the show is telling us no matter how you get in this game, there's no way of getting out unharmed or paying your debts. Somebody always has to pay. So the episode ends with Rue opening up the safe and there's no $20,000 in there, but Rue is almost done. She's about to solve the case and her friend is like, you lied to me. All you do is lie. Everyone just lies to me and they just use me. So the episode ends with the girl screaming. I guess she's going to wake up the boyfriend and I'm so locked to see what's going on next. But the hidden theme in this episode, like I said before, is Rue will never escape this situation. She's gonna die here. What Ali had told her, when you get in the drug game, the ultimate thing left is death. Moses never makes it to the promised land. And this brings me back to my theory about, is episode 8 really gonna be the finale? Because everyone is still chasing a fantasy. How are they gonna wrap this all up in an hour and 35 minutes? Cassie wanted reinvention, Nate wanted control, Maddy wanted stability, and Rue wanted peace. And it seems none of them are going to get this, seemingly. So really, I only have 2 questions left for this season. Who's going to die next? And is this really the finale of Euphoria? Because they haven't even shown Jules. I don't even think they showed Jules in the next preview. So how is this the finale? I mean, it could be they can write all the characters off. They all could die or it can end on a cliffhanger. Or they can have another season, but Euphoria cannot afford to have another big gap like it had once before. I just don't think it would have the hype around because the hype already died around season 3. But that's not to say it isn't good. But what I will say is episode 8 has a lot riding on it for this show to be critically acclaimed and to be winning some awards during the award season. But if this is the final episode, then episode 8 literally has to be devastating because episode 7 left us on a cliffhanger. And I can't wait to see who falls first. So make sure that you join me here this Sunday for the finale of Euphoria. May 31st at 9 p.m. If you like content like this, make sure to like this video. Make sure to share this video with your mommy, daddy, your uncle, your auntie. Make sure to hype this video. Make sure to subscribe. And if nobody told you all year, all month, all week, all day, I love you.